Have you ever wondered if you should withdraw your contribution that you've made to the FERS retirement? Well, if you have, stay tuned for this FERS Federal Fact Check. Today we have a question from NAM that's asking about your FERS contribution. As you know, every pay period you pay into your FERS retirement. Sometimes we get questions about what do you do with that contribution? The question is, how do I know when it's worth it to withdraw, refund my FERS contribution when I leave the federal workforce? I have less than 10 years, but meet the minimum 5 years of service. I have to wait till 62, so now I know with inflation will eat it away since the growth and speed is very low under FERS. Boy, that's a really good question, Nam, about your contributions. Number one, let's understand how they work first, then we can dive into some pros and cons. All right, so the service that you're going to have, it really depends on when you started to work with the federal government. If you started to work for the government before 2013, you were in the FERS retirement system, right? It had to be after December 31st, 1983 to 2013. You were in the FERS, Federal Employee Retirement System. If you were hired after 2013, you're in the Revised Annuitant System, RAE, for FERS employees, or after 2014, the FARE, the Further Revised Annuitant System under FERS. So really the question is, which system are you in? Now, why this matters is not what benefits you get in the end. No matter which system you were in, no matter if you were hired between 83 and 2013, in 2013, or after 2014, the calculation of your benefits, of your pension, is the exact same. But your contribution is different. So, under the FERS retirement system, you pay in about 0.8% of your benefit, of your pay, goes to pay for FERS. This is 0.8% of your money that's debited from your check. You'll see that under the FERS. If you're under the Revised Annuitant System, or the FRAE, Further Revised Annuitant System, that is about 4.4%. I think this one is about 3.3%. So depending on when you were hired, I'm going to put 2013, 2014, right, greater than 2014, and this is before 2013. Under FERS, this is going to dictate how much money you've paid into the system. So let's say that you've worked for 5 years. How much have you contributed to each retirement system? Well, under FERS, let's say your high three was $100,000. Why do we use $100,000? Because it makes my math really easy, right? 100,000 times 0.8% is $800 a year you're contributing into that retirement system. Let's just go to first phrase, this example right here. Well, at 4.4%, you're contributing $4,400 a year into this system. Now, the government is also putting in a match, by the way. This isn't just your money. You put in a little bit, and the government puts in a huge contribution into FERS. But the only way you're going to get that government contribution is if you wait to get your pension. If you go in and say you've worked for 5 years, and let's times these numbers by 5 years just for discussion. So you're going to have, what, $22,000, give or take, that's there, and you're going to have, what, $4,000 right here. Quick mental math, so it's harder when there's a camera on. All right, so after 5 years, you have $4,000 of contributions here, and you have $22,000 of contributions of your money. That's if you've had 5 years of service. Now, you're vested in the retirement system. So what does that mean? You could choose to leave this money sit with the federal government. Then when you're 62 years young, you can go and turn on a deferred pension. You can start pulling that money out and start having a pension income. 5 years, so it'll be 5% of your high three. That's $5,000 a year is what you would have as a pension if you left it until age 62. Doesn't matter which system you're in, the pension calculation's the same. 1% for every year you work times your high three is basic calculation. So that's $5,000 a year. Okay, well, I'm going to leave $4,000 set, and I'm going to have a guaranteed $5,000 for the rest of my life that's coming in. Didn't quite run the math on that one, hopefully know from the emphasis, probably makes sense to leave that money set. Well, let's do the same thing down here. You got $22,000 in, so you're going to pay $22,000 today, and you're going to get $5,000 in income for the rest of your life when you're 62. Well, I don't know how young you are, but you might really want to look at that math and say it probably makes sense to leave this. It's a 4-year, 5-year break even. Yes, if you took this money out, theoretically you would invest it. It would potentially grow, all those things. Why do I say theoretically? Because people don't actually do it. They have these best intents, then they say, oh, I got credit card debt, I'm just going to use this money and pay it off, and not realizing they're giving up such a big benefit in the future. So one thing you want to think about is, what income are you giving up in the future? What's another reason you might want to leave it? How many federal employees do you know that have left government service then later wanted to come back in and have? It happens all the time. Well, now you have 5 years vested in this retirement system. What does that mean? If they change retirement systems again, you might be eligible to get into your current retirement system. That could be a really good deal. Also, if you come back at this five years, now all of a sudden you have 5 years that's count to working towards the system. So that means your leave is going to start a little bit, accumulating a little bit sooner. You're eligible for retirement a little bit sooner. You have these extra 5 years. So I'm a huge fan of saying this money probably should be left in the system. This isn't life or death money that it says if I leave it, then God forbid if you pass away, yep, your beneficiaries might lose out on some. But the reality is I would absolutely look at leaving this money to have it grow for you in the future, because it's going to turn on to an income stream under today's rules that you can never outlive. So be very leery about anyone that recommends you taking money out of the retirement system, not out of the TSP, out of your FERS retirement system. They may not fully understand federal benefits. I hope this information has been beneficial. If you have a question like this that you'd like answered, jump on our website, Plan Your Federal Retirement, leave a comment for us, submit us that question, and you might be featured in the next FERS Federal Fact Check. Until then, happy planning.